It's called Water Music. For you and her. It was not summer, it was still spring. The heat had not come down yet to push the air away, and the forest was greening luxuriously. The air was clean, and the water cold, and the spirit opening up like a flower. There we were, he, she, I, like a hand of dice randomly thrown together, as if we had been dreamt by somebody else, as if we had been preparing for this all our lives. It was spring, that state of things, succulent, ripening, yet not ripe, irresistible, and like spring, the days were counted. Letting the long fingers of desire poke in unallowed places. What is desire for the other that is not declaration of love? What is the result of literature? Violent love of words, put to life, to the ravaging beauty of smells and bodies. What is this love for the combustion of love, that is the combustion of poetry, the chemistry of language, the strange rock of interrelatedness being thrown in the faces of he, she, I, and yet so gracefully received and thrown back again, like echoes bouncing off our innermost caves. She and I, how uncannily familiar, poems written with different stories, shadows bearing different contours, and yet, is there a difference? Worlds, says she, lives, say I, life and language, one, says she, lies, says he. Where lies the difference? Ready for less lies I am. The question is, are we all? Groundhogs we are, looking for the light. He shivers. Not light, water, he says. A ton of water pouring down. Only the water will make you stop shivering. Cold and clean and sweet, she yells, butterflying backwards into the middle of the pond. It was his water, her green like a blanket around his shivers, and I the clouds, floating, not knowing, becoming part of the swirl of water and green and cloud on my back, and you speak of meditating. Might this be it? Of the mathematical operations, I find multiplication to be the most exciting. Multiplicity more exciting still, in that it is a state truly unaccountable for. She will get burned for the love of triangles. The vertiginous possibilities of yes and no, rather than yes or no, as if some things only made sense by balancing them on the tips of this, a frog jumps, laughter. Are there still frogs amidst the wasteland? Then we may be saved. This is it, I think. What else is there? The fine web of moments, the grid on the embroidery cloth. This is the naked place from which it all springs. He, she, I, brought to this place by the art of chance. Visitors of each other, witnesses to a heart that lies outside our bodies and palpitates like a volcano. Lovers of the literature that is in life, we are fingers that touch the locked up, stacked, and put away places. Arms stretched out toward the other, we drift. Unreal. We are surreal, and only she, he, I can convince each other that we are real, I say, and dump a glass of cold water on his head. You are real, she says, and gently bites the tip of my shell. I know it's real, he says, and her eyes well with his tears. Will we be brave enough to embrace what we want when it is in front of us? Will we be able to make home in the moving ground where it all comes together? Or will we consequently dissociate, multiply, dissolve? Will we be smart enough to remember the intelligence of affection? With scars like tattoos, with language like rain, silent rages and essential disbelief, and nothing but lies to redeem them. Language like eyes, piercing the masks we have so carefully fabricated, its sound sonority caressing all of our abortions like a plaster of wet herbs, all of our unknowing, our blindness, our imprecisions, our pretension, stories swallowed up and stored in boxes like teeth. Only language, its soothing undertones, to woo to sleep this ocean of evasion. Language being filled with such desire for truth, spelled out as love, embraced as life. If only our words could be used to ask forgiveness for so much ingratitude, how will we know when the lying stops? It is my place in this story that is completely questionable, I tell myself. What do I see when I look in the mirror of him, her? I see myself before it was owned by love. I see the construction of hope and tragedy, the colored cloths we throw on things and then forget what was underneath. I see the thickness of skins. I see the gaps that words do not breach. I see myself standing before a white horse and crying. All white horses are like that. They will never allow themselves to be touched. How could I not have known? I remember the self before this other self, where I have made a home now. I am back to where I believed in a self, when I thought that I was and would always be this sad little matchbox seller, so prettily dragging my bundle of carefully picked out treasures through the darkest corners I could find. Before I met the wolf and looked into his eyes until they did not scare me. Before love moved into me without a word or explanation, because that is what happens. Suddenly you are at the table and having tea with love. Suddenly you realize the wolf was love, or love was the wolf, and the only possible story for a girl like you was for your love to be born in the very place of your fear. And then my trunk was chopped in two so that a baby treeling could sprout. And then the only word that drooled from my lips was tenderness. This was how I learned the secret of becoming plural. This was when love pushed myself out of its tightness and into this wider body. And yet, what could be more than this once love is touched?